After years of riding and reviewing mountain bikes like this, I've learned some brutal truths about mountain bike prices the hard way. I've wasted a lot of my own hard-earned money. So today I'm sharing 7 of those brutal truths with you to hopefully help you avoid making the same mistakes. Pay close attention to brutal truth number 5 right here, you guys. That's one that I still struggle with to this day. And do me a favor, drop a comment down below. Let me know which one of these brutal truths resonates most with you. Now, we can't talk about mountain bike prices without talking about diminishing returns. But the brutal truth is that point of diminishing returns, it's not as obvious as you think. Diminishing returns are all about that price you pay and the actual performance gains you're getting at each price point. This is something we deal with all the time in the world. Like when you're looking to buy a brand new TV, that no brand TV that costs like $300, the difference between that and like an $1,000 TV that's, you know, a good quality brand with good reviews, there's gonna be a noticeable difference in the picture quality, the sound, and the overall performance and how long that TV lasts. Jumping up from a $1,000 to a $2,000 TV, you'll still see some noticeable differences, but those improvements are a little bit less as you move up in the price range. And by the time you get up into that like $5,000 TV price range, the differences are so subtle that most of us average viewers really won't be able to notice the difference. And so you're kind of getting to that point to where you're getting those diminishing returns. Now let's apply that same principle to mountain bikes, right? Let's say you got the $500 mountain bike. The difference between the $500 and $1,500 mountain bike, you got that steep curve. You're getting huge performance gains by moving up in the price range. I'd even say as you move up into the $3,000 range, you're continuing to get huge performance upgrades, things like you're definitely getting a dropper post, you're getting more reliable wheels, components, overall parts. But as you start to move up from $3,000 into that $5,000 range, a little bit less performance. Maybe you're getting something like a carbon frame, which could be really important to you versus like an aluminum frame. So still getting some performance gains. But mountain bikes can cost upwards of like $10,000. And let's be real, the difference between a $5,000 and a $10,000 mountain bike is kind of like that TV we were talking about earlier. Sure, there's minor differences like you're getting wireless shifting, you're getting, you know, maybe even something crazy like flight attendant suspension, but those minor differences are so small that if you're not like a pro level racer or somebody who's really pushing a bike to the limits, you probably aren't gonna notice a difference. But that's where it gets tricky, you guys, because that point of diminishing returns really depends on who you are as a rider and what you need out of your mountain bike. For me, anything beyond $5,000, I'm basically just spending money to flex. But for you, you know, a $1,500 bike may be all you need depending on how advanced your riding skills are and how aggressive of trails you're trying to ride. And that brings me perfectly on to brutal truth number 2. You get what you pay for, so know what you want. Buying a bike is like buying shoes. Buying a pair of $20 shoes from the bargain bin, they'll get you from point A to point B, but they'll wear out fast, won't feel great, and might even hurt your feet getting there. If you spend just a little bit more on a mid-range pair of shoes, they'll look better, feel better, and make every step that much more enjoyable. And when you step it up to that premium level shoe, that's when you're getting the best possible quality, comforts, things that make you feel like you're floating on a cloud from point A to point B, never getting there faster or with more comfort. So you really need to figure out what you want out of a shoe, just like you need to figure out what you want out of a bike. Mountain bikes are expensive, let's just be honest. But the difference between a cheap $500 Walmart bike and a premium top tier $5,000 carbon bike is night and day. But that doesn't mean the Walmart bike is the wrong choice. For a lot of people, that might be all they need. But just know that if you think you're gonna buy a cheap bike when you want that premium level riding experience, you're not really saving money. You're just buying more headaches in the future. But what if that's all I can afford, Jared? Like, you sound like a bike snob right now. Well, that, my friends, leads me perfectly into brutal truth number 3. Upgrading cheap bikes, it's gonna cost you more over time, but that's okay. The reality with buying a mountain bike most of the time is that we buy what we can afford. And yes, you spend way more money in the long run on a cheap bike by the time you've upgraded the shock, the fork, the wheels, the tires. You could have just bought that premium level bike, or definitely that next tier bike from the start. But here's the silver lining. Working on your bike, doing those upgrades slowly over time, it gives you, a couple things. It gives you a better appreciation for your mountain bike as you work on it. It gives you a better understanding of your mountain bike, working on it, really figuring out how those parts and components work. As you upgrade those parts, it allows you to pick like that exact part that you want, that exact fork or shock. You can kind of color match and make the bike look exactly how you want. So although it may be more expensive, it's okay, and actually is a lot of damn fun upgrading your bike. But here's a tip. Buy, enough tools to at least be able to do the basic level of service, the basic level of upgrades yourself. I think as you begin to work on your bike, if you do it yourself, you'll be surprised just how much you can do. Learn to work on your bike yourself, upgrade those cheap bikes over time, and it's actually gonna be a good thing for you. And that, my friends, brings me right into brutal truth number 4, because this one's gonna hurt a little bit. You do not need that 10K super bike. Buying a 10K super bike when you're not a pro level racer is like driving a Formula 1 car to the freaking grocery store. Yes, it's insanely fast, designed with precision and control, and made for the world's fastest racers to drive this thing. But on normal roads, or in our case, normal trails, let's be honest, we are just not pushing a bike far enough to the limits. At least I know I'm not, and most other average riders are not pushing a bike enough to the limits to spend $10,000 on one of these super bikes with that Kashima coating, flight attendant suspension, wireless drivetrain, all those fancy things that we don't really need. But here's the flip side. That super expensive bike, ridiculous, a waste of money, you don't need it. But what about that super cheap bike? Cheap bikes and YouTubers, right? Cheap bikes are like clickbait. Is clickbait actually supposed to be one word? Anyways, this is one. I have the Walmart bike back there, and if I'm gonna call other YouTubers out, call myself out, this is one I struggle with as well, because those cheap bikes, they get views. And yes, I agree, there's a large portion of the public that should be riding these Walmart bikes. That's probably, as advanced as their skills are gonna get. But let's be real about these YouTubers making these videos, calling these $500 bikes revolutionary. They're doing it because these bikes drive traffic, views, and affiliate sales. And who pays the price? You do. When you buy that bike, you take it out on the trails, and you realize it's not the right bike for you. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the $500 Walmart bike, but when we make these reviews, we need to be honest about the limitations and the type of riders this bike is not gonna be good enough for. But at the end of the day, you buy the bike you can afford, and that's exactly what we're talking about in brutal truth number 6. The right bike is the bike that you can actually afford. At the end of the day, my opinion doesn't really matter when it comes to your wallet. Because the truth is, the best bike for you right now is the one you can afford, so you can hurry up, get out on those trails, go ride, and have fun. Don't listen to these other YouTubers or big media outlets telling you you need a certain level of bike to get a certain level of enjoyment out of riding. Because the brutal truth is, mountain biking is not about the price tag, it's about getting stoked, going riding, and having some freaking fun, people. And that brings me right into brutal truth number 7, you guys. The first mountain bike you buy is not gonna be your last. So don't worry about getting that first perfect purchase and think that that's the bike you have to ride forever. In fact, that's why I tell a lot of people just to get a hardtail, because I truly believe that a hardtail is a bike you should always have in your bike stable. And that way, like in a season or two, when your riding is advanced and you really realize what you want and you're ready for that full suspension mountain bike, you just keep the hardtail for those days when you want to ride a hardtail, and then you get that full suspension bike, and then you decide which bike you really need based on you and the type of riding that you want to do. But just know that there are very few people I've ever met that just bought one bike and rode it for their entire mountain bike career. So don't overthink it. Buy the bike that you want now, buy the bike you can afford. Do your best little bit of research to make sure it's the right bike for you, but just know eventually as your riding progresses, you're gonna end up buying that next bike. Just like me, never bought a $500 Walmart bike myself to ride, only bought it for these videos. But I definitely bought some bikes like the Polygon right here in that $1,500 range. And then as my riding has progressed, I've bought more and more bikes and realized that there's something about that carbon frame and those high-end components that make riding just so much more fun for me. So there you go, guys. 7 brutal truths for you when it comes to mountain bike prices, but now is your chance to leave a comment down below. Let me know which one of these brutal truths resonated most with you, and if there's anything that I left out, any truths that you hold, definitely leave those below. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Hope you guys subscribe right now and look forward to that next video. I was actually supposed to be taking these bikes out on a ride today, but had some stuff in the family come up. I'm not able to get out and ride as much as I would like to these days. It kind of sucks, man. I'm at the point in the video where I feel like I can just be open and transparent and rant a little bit, but I moved across country from the West Coast and the PNW where they had tons of trails to shred. And now I'm over here on the East Coast where the trails are a little bit further drive, and the job I have in the military right now is a little bit more advanced, takes quite a bit more of my brain power and my time. Add that, you know, combine all that like with a growing family, and it means I just can't get out and ride all the time. So I hope you guys enjoy videos like this where I just take time to sit down, kind of rant a little bit, and just give you guys hopefully some good advice. Those 7 brutal truths, I don't know. Let me know what you think.